But I'm gonna harp on Ted Cruz for a moment because I just don't understand the glaze. I don't know how he has fucking hog riders. I do not get the pedophiles that will defend him tooth and nail when he himself has said that the reason he got into Congress 13 years ago is to defend the interests of Israel.
I came into Congress 13
cooking.
years ago with the stated intention of being the leading defender of Israel in the United States Senate.
Right.
And I've worked every day to do that.
But as far as MoistCritical goes, guys, it's time. There's a real fucked up situation going on. Let's take a look at what he had to say.
It's so despicable, and yet it's stopped being surprising now. P. Diddy just got sentenced to 50 months in prison. Yeah, he got 4 years in the slammer. That's it. Basically, the Jeffrey Epstein of the music industry gets away with a slap on the wrist. I mean, they're probably going to be supplying him with baby oil in the cell at this point. He just got 50 months in prison. That's it. And truthfully, I'm not even confident they're going to keep him incarcerated for the full 50 months. I don't even think he'll be in there that long. He'll be in and out of the slammer lickety split. I feel like it'll be like that scene in SpongeBob where SpongeBob and Patrick steal a balloon on free balloon day, so the cops like close the cell for a split second and tell him to, scram. That's what I think's going to happen with P. Diddy here. This is just abhorrent. 50 months for the diddler. We got to start looking into the judge here for a second to see if he got involved.
Okay.
Every time.
Well, I don't know why he started with the diddler. He starts talking about Israel at some point, right?
A vile, evil worm. And he gets 50 months. This is just clear, irrefutable proof unfolding in front of your eyes that some people genuinely are above the law. Actually, it's not conspiratorial. It is just the facts of it. It's crazy. Your Honor, did you stop to consider for a moment that my client has an unbelievable amount of money? Okay, just take that into consideration. I'm not going to bother going into the particulars here about where apparently P. Diddy was so broken about, the 4 years he has to spend in prison, or the strong face the judge put on there for a second while shaking his finger, waggling his little digit here about, justice and all the sick shit that Diddy did.
I will say that's standard for that's standard for sexual assault related incidents though. The criminal justice system is actually pretty crazy with its lenient sentencing when it comes down to rapists and stuff. This is obviously a triple Monty because Diddy is also a very famous person and also very wealthy on top of that. But even in average everyday Joe incidents, even if you can get a fucking investigation done because there's a shit ton of backlogged rape kits that have just gone untested for years, okay? Even if you can get an investigation, you go through the court process, again, very hard to convict. And on top of that, once you are convicted, the sentencing is pretty crazy. People are always shocked in high profile incidents like this, but if you look through the American criminal justice system, you got motherfuckers rotting in prison for weed, for their third strike on weed charges and shit. Meanwhile, dudes would just straight up rape a child and get 5 years or 6 years, which unironically is another famous incident that took place. Trump's, one of Trump's pastors got 6 months in prison for doing that. I'm pretty sure. I don't know I forget the exact details, but that's the only area, famous or not famous, that's the only area where there's tremendous leniency for some weird reason. Okay? Everything else, every other issue, the American criminal justice system is vicious. Okay? The American criminal justice system is unimaginably vicious. Not sure about you, but when the ex-megachurch pastor and Trump's spiritual advisor Robert Morris gets only 6 months in prison for sexually abusing a 12-year-old girl, while homeless Willie Simpson gets life in prison without the eligibility for parole for stealing $9, it's so fucking unfair. And the reason why this person, I suspect, if this is not an example, if this is a real example, I suspect it's because it's their third strike. Jay Mershon says, yeah, for reference, drug trafficking in Massachusetts is punished more harshly than rape. Fucking ludicrous. Yeah. This is another universal problem, by the way. It's also really shitty in the UK as well. In most places, and listen, I'm not Mr. We need more harsh sentencing. at any point, right? I'm Mr. Criminal Justice Reform. I am in favor of rehabilitation over incarceration, but it's impossible not to realize, or it's impossible not to fucking notice. What is this? The Hassan Piker effect? Why did you send this to me? Let's get back to MoistCritical, who is finally addressing the genocide.
It's all just fucking performative. It's not real. Because at the end of the day, justice wasn't really served. 4 years in jail for the diddler, the fucking baby oil behemoth, that's unhinged. That's just so twisted. But that's the time.
Yeah. Diddy was convicted on 2 sex work charges. 50 months is on the high end of a sentence. I know. It's because part of the reason why that happened is because the prosecution flubbed it big time. And he had a really solid defense team.
We're living in. Like, it is crazy the times we're living in. I also just saw today fucking Benjamin Netanyahu just openly stating in front of the whole world his plans on brainwashing because so many people are turning on Israel. So he was asked like what he plans to do about it. And you know what? Since I'm just yapping, I'm just gonna go ahead and go on this topic now too.
I guess I'm curious about what's another game plan if we lose evangelical support for the state of Israel? What's our backup plan to be strong, like outside the diaspora?
Christian influencers, okay? You said, we talked about the woke right, and you said, I call it the woke Reich. That's opinion. The woke Reich, because these people, you know, they're not any different from the woke left. I mean, they're insane. They're loonies.
Yeah, that's his strategy. A galaxy brain chess maneuver here. Call everyone that doesn't support Israel Nazis. Whoa, holy shit. This guy's, he's alting right now. What?
Insane that Charlie's going beast mode for once. I mean, it's not that insane. Dude, someone must have clipped it when I was memeing about how when Charlie comes out with the black t-shirt and starts talking about, guys, we have a serious problem with Israel. That's when you know the normal position is we've arrived at the normie position. This is hardly beast mode though. Dude, I'm going to keep it very real with you. There is no world where someone like Charlie would ever in a million fucking years say anything about Israel. You guys are straight up living in a totally alternative reality. If you think a person that people call a fence sitter professionally, okay, would ever, like, I'm not, and his own personal positions on Israel are irrelevant. I'm saying, like, as far as coming out and saying anything about Israel because of how fucking terrified most people have been to say anything about Israel at all, anything for Israel, anything to say about Israel at all. Because for many people, for content creators, for people with jobs, they are terrified of saying anything about Israel that's negative because automatically you are public enemy number one. You're losing your job. You're gonna be tarred and feathered. You're gonna be called the anti-Semitic Nazi for the rest of your fucking life. Okay. This means it's no longer the case. This means that normies have also recognized that there isn't a tremendous amount of social pressure that can be applied if you come out and you're like, what the fuck are we doing here? This is completely unacceptable. He is proving exactly what I've been saying for months, that Israel's censorship regime especially is very frustrating for regular Americans who might not personally give a shit about what's going on there. Not to say that Charlie doesn't, right? But there are plenty of Americans. I'm using MoistCritical here as a beacon. I'm using him as what's the word I'm thinking of? I'm using him as a way to tell you where like societal attitude is at. Okay? Yeah, a canary in the coal mine, a litmus test, an indicator, okay? Most people either don't know anything about Palestine or Israel and never really cared, or they had a positive opinion on Israel until October 7, right? And most people saw what Israel did after October 7 and at times tuned in and thought, wow, that's really fucked up. Oh, well, life goes on. I'm talking about like normal people, not you guys. This community is obviously unique. We are uniquely tuned in to what the fuck Israel's been up to every single day. Okay? For the average person, for your coworkers, they are not as tuned in. But this doesn't mean that they're oblivious. They are aware of what Israel's doing. Some people know what Israel's doing and think, well, you know, they're brown guys. Oh, well, it's really sad. Maybe they should stop. But they're just, you know, brown children being slaughtered. Okay? And they just move on with their lives. But if there's one thing that pisses off Americans, if there's one thing that pisses off your fucking coworkers, it's the fact that they see that, they don't like it, they're fearful to say anything about it, and they see others saying something about it that reflects their values on the issue, and they get fucking censored, or they get deplatformed, or they get yelled at endlessly by some of the most arrogant genocide dares you have ever encountered, and they don't like that. They especially don't like this. So even if there's an American out there who doesn't give a fuck, who doesn't like what Israel is doing, but doesn't care enough to go out and protest, and is not fully aware of all of the awfulness, all of the bloodshed that Israel has committed, they especially don't like being fucking censored. They don't like the fact that there are unlimited tax dollars going there, and they don't like the arrogance and entitlement demonstrated by this supposed client state, and they don't like that they are being censored for exhibiting any sort of discontent. Okay? We shall call this the Kimmel effect. That's a good attitude about it. That's a good take. Exactly. Americans might not be totally tuned into all the awful shit that Trump is doing right now at the domestic level. But when he came out and was like, Jimmy Kimmel, for this like tepid statement about Charlie Kirk, deserves to be barred from speaking on television, and the FCC should like revoke the television license, all of a sudden everyone goes, what the fuck do you mean? Get the fuck out of here. Okay? And that's precisely what's taking place here. Prepare to be clipped out of context by slobs, but Moist doesn't support terrorists. Yeah, I don't care. Shut the fuck up. Who gives a shit? Okay? Poll after poll is showing that more and more Americans are becoming aware of the reality or acknowledging the reality that Israel is committing a genocide. It's crazy to me that it's still 39% because that's precisely what this is, right? Wait, that's American. Wait, no, hold on. That's Jews. That's American Jews, brother. No, the percentage of Americans that say Israel's committing a genocide against Palestinians in Gaza is far higher than that. This is American Jews. Most American Jews say Israel's committed war crimes against Palestinians. About 4 in 10 say Israel's committed genocide. That's insane. That's huge.
Wow. So basically, if you're not like eating out of this guy's gooch and supporting Israel on everything, you're a Nazi.
To secure
Down to the fucking black t-shirt, bro. Come on. My point is not, it's a non-starter. The normie American position is not only anti-Israel, but Americans are no longer afraid of even coming out as being anti-Israel. Because like in the past, many Americans would shy away from saying the truth. Many Americans would shy away from saying the truth because they were worried. Because nobody wants to be fucking yelled at and be called a fucking anti-Semite, okay? Especially because like when you get called an anti-Semite, especially by like these advocacy groups that do have a tremendous or did have a tremendous amount of institutional motion, you're fucked. Your career is over. Okay? This goes even beyond like people's distaste for speaking on political issues. And now it's like, it's no longer the Canary Mission doxing random like Palestinian nurses and shit. Because they can't dox every single person. You know what I mean? So they don't have that same environment of censorious fear. And it doesn't hit anymore. Yeah. This shit doesn't work anymore, man. Balanced budget 35. The cultural boycott of Israel almost certainly is thinly veiled anti-Semitism. Cultural boycott immediately implies a boycott of Jewish culture, which is inherently intertwined with Israel. It just doesn't. I have Jewish friends. They are scared of being attacked. You can criticize Israel, but criticizing culture, you begin immediately steering into anti-Semitism. Cultural boycott doesn't mean boycotting Israel. First of all, cultural boycott on Israel does not mean boycotting Jewish culture. The fuck do you mean boycotting Jewish culture? Are we going to stop eating bagels? No one is fucking suggesting that, okay? Half of American culture has been created by American Jews. No one is fucking advocating for cultural boycotts on Jews. A cultural boycott on Israel means academic boycotts on Israel, sports boycotts on Israel, not allowing Israeli teams participating in global events. Also, what kind of fucking cultural output does Israel have? Are you kidding me? Oh no, I can't wait. We're not going to be able to listen to fucking the worst techno you've ever heard in your entire life. Get the fuck out of here. It is obvious to me that Israeli society, and it is obvious to everyone with eyes to see who are at least knowledgeable about what's going on here, that Israeli society, by and large, is not going to make a big fuss to get Benjamin Netanyahu to stop this genocide. They're on board. They're on board with it. So you have to get Israeli society to recognize that this is no longer a genocide that they can continue doing without any sort of repercussions. This is exactly what happened in apartheid South Africa as well. White Afrikaners did not take a position against the apartheid because they finally recognized the humanity of black people. They took a position against the apartheid because they realized that the rest of the world had designated South Africa as a pariah state. They no longer could participate in global affairs with the same ease that they were able to. Israel has never seen this kind of repercussion. This is what the advocacy is all about. This is why BDS is so important. Boycott, divestments, and sanctions on the state of Israel is so important. And it's still not working. Like, FIFA fucking caved and did not ban Israel from competing in international competitions. A statement from Gianni Infantino said no measures will be taken against Israel. FIFA cannot resolve geopolitical conflict. It's fucking bullshit. They're such pussies. They had no issue doing it to Russia, and Israel has done even worse. What are we talking about? Like, I'm sorry, you can't ban Russia and then not ban Israel. Like, what are we talking about? There is a just cause to ban Russia for invading Ukraine. There is an even more just cause to ban Israel for doing a fucking genocide. Like, what? What the hell is this? What planet are we living on? People see that, by the way. Average people see that. Average people see that and they get pissed off too. I promise you. Anyway, let's get back to the moist meter here, though.
That part of the base of our support in the United States, that is being challenged.
The Ukraine thing is just as bad. Come on, don't say Gaza is worse. They're both bad. I'm sorry, dude. Are you out of your fucking mind? No, of course a genocide is worse, dude. What the fuck is this question? At least Ukraine has the backing of the entire Western world with, like, arms. Okay? No one in here is justifying Russia's invasion of Ukraine, dummy. What the fuck? Come on, dude. Israel has used 8 nukes worth of munitions on a small sliver of land that they were the belligerent occupier of. 90% of the casualties are civilians. 70% or 75 to 80% of the people that were killed are women, children, and the elderly. And you're over here talking about, like, oh, don't compare the two. Like, what the fuck do you mean? Yeah, it's not even a comparison. One is a genocide. Both are unacceptable. Both are incredibly violent. Both deserve punishment. One is a genocide. That's crazy. Yes, it's not comparable at all. But not in the way that you think. Like, two things can be bad, with one being a multiple magnitudes worse than the other, okay?
Systematically. A lot of this is done with
Like, can
money.
you imagine? Here, I'll give you another example, okay? Can you imagine a world where you can't fucking be like, hey man, Russia is pretty fucked up for this goddamn war that they're committing, and then people come up and they're like, you're being Russophobic, you can't have a job anymore, you're fired. Like, Russia invades Ukraine, okay, and you can't be like, yo, that's really fucked up. Russia invades Ukraine, and you can't even say, hey, don't do that, that's really fucked up. Can you fucking imagine a world where people were like, wow, you're being Slavophobic or Russophobic, you're fired. Yeah, have fun being unemployed, you're gonna be homeless now.
Money of NGOs, vast. Money of governments, vaster. Okay? We have to fight back. How do we fight back? Our influencers.
Just in case you forgot, Israel literally pays influencers to suck their wiener and just be like these loyal little lapdogs to always just lap up whatever Netanyahu's gooch is sweating out. Like, it's unbelievable. And he's just being like super open about it. Like, he is just saying that in front of people's faces.
Guys, people saying that's exactly what it's like in Russia are missing the point. Yes, it's also the same in Israel. You can't say it's a fucking genocide in Israel. It is illegal, okay? They will arrest you. And they do arrest people for saying that in Israel, okay? Not in America. I'm talking about the Western world, okay? Like, Palestine Action was prescribed as a terrorist organization, and you can go to prison for 14 years in the UK for holding up a placard that says, I support Palestine Action, okay? Can you imagine a similar incident where in the UK you say, I support Ukraine, Slava Ukraine, and you go to prison for 14 fucking years? It is the most patently, flagrantly absurd injustice. And while there is no asymmetry between, or while there is an asymmetry, between Russia and Ukraine, where one is obviously a much more powerful and much larger force that is also engaging in an unjust invasion of a neighboring country, and it has been tremendously bloody, Israel is literally doing a genocide to a belligerent, to a population, to a captive population that it is the belligerent occupier of. After almost 80 years of apartheid. What the fuck? Hasan, you are a terrorist, an actual threat to human life, disgusting, disgraceful, pathetic. Sorry. MoistCritical is also on his fuck Israel tip. So good luck to you, chatter. Good luck to that chatter. There's going to be, at this point, there's going to be like 8 people who fucking support Israel.
And nobody seems to care.
And secondly, we're going to have to use the tools of battle. And the most important ones are the social media. And the most important purchase that is going on right now is TikTok. TikTok, number one. And I hope it goes through because it can be consequential. And the other one, what's the other one that's most important? X. X. Exactly. Very good. And, you know, so we have to talk to Elon. He's not an enemy. He's a friend. We should talk to him. Now, if we can get those 2 things, we get a lot. And I could go on other things, but that's not the point right now.
Spoiler warning for those without thinking caps on. Censorship. He's talking about censorship. Damn to free speech. Benjamin Netanyahu's got other ideas. It's something he's talked about plenty in the past. He's not exactly shy with it. He's very loosey-goosey with the censorship topic, and he's talking about it again. He recognizes how everyone sharing videos and information about the atrocities and all the slaughter of the Palestinians at the hands of the IDF is making people turn on Israel. So now genocidal freak is going up to Elon Musk. Oh, Mr. Musk, can we do something about like all these pesky voices sharing all of this? It's censorship. Super weird, by the way, how a foreign nation seems to have so much pull over things happening in our homeland. Why can Netanyahu come out with his full ass on display talking about like how algorithms on the platforms here need to cater to him, and also he should be talking to Elon about Twitter so they can do something together in regards to, like, the people not liking Israel anymore and what they're having access to. Why is that? Like, that shouldn't be allowed, right? Like, what the fuck? This guy gets to come in and, like, completely wash our fucking freedom of speech in order to fit his censorship agenda? Cool. How about no, Goober? Like, come on. This
Goober
should be an outrage to everybody, but it's not. It's just not. And that's just the signs of the times that we're in. Like, I made a video the other day about Ted Cruz with his slip-up where he said to stop attacking pedophiles.
Senator Booker also said we should have bipartisan agreement. I think that's a great idea. We should have bipartisan agreement. How about we all come together and say, let's stop murders?
Damn, bro, I can't believe I'm hearing MoistCritical. My eyes, my ears. I can't believe I'm seeing and hearing MoistCritical wearing the black shirt, literally calling Benjamin fucking Netanyahu the G word. Goober. Okay? That is crazy. How do we get here, folks? The motherfucking G word, man. Incredible things are happening. We're finally here. ContraPoints has now officially been outflanked from the left by MoistCritical. I know. I don't know anything about him. What's the significance of the black shirt? I mean, that's mostly a meme. But yeah, no. Charlie is Charlie doesn't normally do a lot of politics. Like he's a liberal for sure. Right? In the past, like he's come out and had some interesting takes that I definitely consider liberal, but like he is very he deliberately stays out of trouble, I guess, if that makes sense. He tries to actively not talk about this stuff. So for him to come out and like make a statement is indicative of the change in times. It means that there aren't like tremendous repercussions for this sort of thing. But for the Palestine issue, you just need to be human to speak up no matter what side you're on. No, I understand that. But again, different strokes for different folks, I guess. How do you think he'd feel knowing you call him a normie meter? I don't know. I mean, I'm not even shitting on him for it. A lot of people yell about how he's, people say like he's offensive or whatever. I don't really give a shit ultimately. I'll take support from anywhere I can get. But yeah, I think he is demonstrative of an attitude shift. It means that like this position is no longer, this is an inoffensive position. It's like people actually no longer feel fearful to reveal this. And he has, yeah, in the past, he stood up for trans people and a lot of people yelled at him for it. But like this means that like the average American cop and divorced dad also has a similar perspective. Do you understand? Like there's cops that watch MoistCritical. There's divorced dads that watch MoistCritical. Your coworkers watch MoistCritical, okay, in our age group. Lol, shitting on him even more? No, this is not a diss on MoistCritical at all, dude. It's only a diss in this community. Okay? That for the average person doesn't have a fucking negative opinion about cops. What are you talking about? Average person in America loves cops, chatter. Wake up.
How about we all come together and say, let's stop rape? How about we all come together and say, let's stop attacking pedophiles? I want you to look at what happened when the National Guard went to D.C.
Quite the Freudian slip. And as I said, there's no way he meant to say that. But he never corrects it or anything. No one points it out. And what he's talking about didn't pertain to pedophiles at all. His crime statistics were robbery, homicide, and rape. 2 out of 3 of those he covered previously. The last one, robbery, that doesn't relate to stopping attacking pedophiles. Like, those two don't connect. You can't put the square piece into the circle hole on that one. And I saw people saying that it was intellectually dishonest to paint it as anything other than just like an embarrassing flub. Which is fair enough, I suppose, because I'm not trying to make the claim that this is him fully admitting to things and he's going full mask off. Ted Cruz did notably reject the release of the Epstein files. Like, from all available information, it seems he has been against the release of the Epstein files, judging from his votes in regards to it. So I did pose that, here's a little food for thought. There may be a little something there, possibly, but overall, the video, I was just taking the piss out of it. That's really it. But that was somehow incendiary and made people mad about, like, oh, to portray him clearly having a flub there.
Once again, that is indicative of his audience's attitude, right? That he still has people that would, even when he's like gently making fun of Ted Cruz for a very obvious gaffe, while tying it back to his, while tying it back to the Epstein stuff, like there are people in his audience that get mad at that. Okay, so there's obviously like right wingers in his audience as well. Not his entire audience, but that is once again where Charlie is at and what he represents for someone like myself.
With his words is absurd. And I just don't understand how we've reached this point where you can't even like point out the absurdity of something so fucking preposterous like a politician saying, stop attacking pedophiles. It's crazy to me. But I saw people putting words in his mouth saying what he meant to say, stop defending pedophiles. But again, that doesn't fit with what he's actually talking about here in the full context of what's going on. So why is he even bringing up pedophiles in the first place? It's super fucking weird. That's all I was saying and making fun of him for it. The same way I've made fun of other flubs and weird stuff from politicians like Biden when he talk about like kids rubbing his leg hairs and shit like that. But things have just changed so fucking drastically. It's a totally different ballgame. But I'm gonna harp on Ted Cruz for a moment because I just don't understand the glaze. I don't know how he has fucking hog riders. I do not get the pedophiles that will defend him tooth and nail when he himself has said that the reason he got into Congress 13 years ago is to defend the interests of Israel.
I came into Congress
He's
13 years
cooking.
ago with the stated intention of being the leading defender of Israel in the United States Senate.
Right.
And I've worked every day to do that.
So you are an American politician whose sole purpose for being here is to defend the interests of a foreign nation here, domestically. I just don't know how that's not treasonous. I'm just going to say it. I don't get how that is not just like full-blown treason. I saw quite a few takes when it came out about Israel paying influencers for like positive PR and stuff, and people were tossing the word treason around in regards to that. This is that times 50. I don't know how this one gets a pass. I don't get how that gets a pass. He is supposed to represent the state of Texas. You would think as an American.
I told you, motherfuckers, dude. I told you. Wait till Charlie hears about BDS laws, dude. Any self-respecting American who hears about the treacherous, nefarious ways in which Israel advocacy groups have been able to dominate American political discourse in this fashion, they're never going to look at that the same way ever again. 38 states where you have to fucking sign a loyalty pledge to the state of Israel to retain a job.
Politician, you would be prioritizing the interests of the nation that you're representing. But instead, he is openly saying that he got into this for the sole reason of supporting a foreign nation here. Now, again, I'm not the most politically savvy guy on the planet. I'm a fucking Neanderthal. I get that. I am a Cro-Magnon man when it comes to this. But I just don't understand. I cannot wrap my head around how people will support that. I don't get it. It doesn't.
By the way, I knew this was going to inevitably happen, which is why I cannot believe how much the Democrats have failed on this issue and how much they haven't led on this issue. If you couldn't see the fucking writing on the wall, first and foremost, you should have obviously been against it due to the immoral nature. Like you should, if you're a human being, you should be anti-genocide. Okay? But the fact that you wouldn't even argue against Israel, you wouldn't argue against decoupling from Israel, knowing that this was going to be a major world-defining incredibly consequential political issue at the domestic level, god damn, dude, retire. Fucking retire if you can't see that. If I can see that, and I'm a dumb fuck Twitch streamer, you should be able to see that too. You shouldn't even need the tide shift to take place to actually, you know, change your position on it, regardless if you're a politician. Yeah. Leaked email reveals communication between company leading the TikTok purchase and former Israeli Prime Minister Ehud Barak. We believe that we have to embed the love and respect for Israel in the American culture, wrote the then Oracle CEO Safra Katz in 2015. Okay. And Will Menaker has a take on it. He says, no matter how much money they spend on this or how many media platforms they buy out for this express purpose, I can state with total confidence that no one in this country under the age of 50 will ever love or respect Israel again, and nothing is changing that. It's over. This is why I keep saying, toothpaste out of the tube. This is why I keep repeating over and over again that today is the day that Israel will be the most popular it ever will be for the rest of time. Tomorrow, Israel will be less popular than it is today. And the day after that, Israel will be even less popular than it is today. This will never turn around for Israel. It's over. They've lost the next generation. Completely lost it. And what they also fail to comprehend is that all of this censorship, all of this media manipulation is only pissing people off further. That's why you got motherfuckers like Charlie coming out and attacking Israel from the perspective of coming after, like, in changing, like, or openly admitting that they are trying to pay people to advocate for Israel as it is doing a genocide. It's out in the open. That's why I don't get too fucking mad at people when they actually take the leap, when they actually do recognize, when they take that first step and they recognize, like, Israel is the wrong party here and not the wronged party here. All it takes is time from that point on. Most people don't just turn around and go, yeah, Israel's doing a genocide, but, okay? They might say that today, but they're not going to say that tomorrow, chat. This is why you always have to be as kind as you possibly can to people who have demonstrated that genuine change of heart, or people who were silent before who are speaking out now. Okay? Do you understand? I always like to look at my own personal... Are you reading a script? The fuck? No, man. What? I'm reading chat while also spitting hot fire. These are things I've said so many times over that it's just like, it's not even a thing. I don't even think while I'm repeating these words at this point. But understand something, okay? I know you want to feel like you were there all along and you want some recognition for it. This is a selfish need, okay? Let go of that. Imagine if I did that to you when you came in here on October 7, okay? And you told me, like, fuck you, Hasan. You're a fucking Hamas lover. You love terrorism. How dare you speak out against the Jewish state? I didn't do that, did I? I was aware of all the fucked up shit that Israel had done leading up to that point, but I didn't do that. Think about your own experience over the last 2 years and how you arrived at this conclusion, the journey that you took to arrive at this conclusion, to arrive at the truth. Okay? Understand that a similar process will take place for a lot of the people who are even now, after 23 months, only now beginning to recognize what Israel's been up to. Bro, I came in here years ago after leaving the army. If you had done that to me, I would not be a progressive leftist organizing in my community. Giving people a path forward with empathy is so crucial. Exactly. Trick question. You didn't stream on October 7th. That's true. That was one of the few days that I didn't stream. That's why people say when I don't stream, crazy shit happens. I did not stream on October 7th, but I'm saying on October 8th, right? When I did stream. I'm telling you, it is impossible. Once people are made aware, once they take that leap, once they actually go against what they have been preconditioned into believing, that Israel is this moral party, Israel is this Western aligned nation, and its enemies are barbaric monsters. Once they take that leap to recognize the truth for the first time, where they go, maybe Israel is not the moral nation I thought it was. There's no going back after that. Okay? After that, you just have to sit back and wait. All it takes is time. And the same even goes, same goes for liberal Zionists. People that start off as liberal Zionists who are like, yeah, you know, I don't really like the West Bank settlements. And yeah, I don't know. I mean, why can't Jews have their own nation state? Like, come on. Like, it starts off that way. But the moment that they start recognizing that Israel is committing a genocide, the moment that they start thinking like this is unjustifiable, it's a tipping point for them. From that point on, they're not gonna turn back and be like, yeah, they did a genocide, but like they're still awesome. You know what I mean? Or yeah, they're doing war crimes every day, but they're still fucking dope. I've never met a person like that. I've only met people who cynically present themselves as like stalwart allies of the Palestinian cause while simultaneously abiding by a liberal Zionist fixed position that they won't bend on, and only maybe in an effort to launder their reputation after so many people's perspectives have shifted so dramatically after 2 years of genocide, do they try to launder their reputation after trying to actively deplatform people. But like, you know what that is, okay? You know what's going on there. That's not like a sincere thing. That's just someone trying to maintain some semblance of authority. What do you think about the person who mostly clings to the argument, not my American dollars going to Israel versus condemning the genocide? I'll take it. Whichever way we can, you know? Because without American dollars and American support, Israel would not be able to fucking commit this genocide. So, yeah, okay. So they're a genocidal, fascist, ethnic supremacist ideology built on 79 years of ethnic cleansing, apartheid, and occupation. But have you heard their side trans? Come on, man. It's so much better than infected mushroom, okay? You don't even understand. They have the best techno, bro. Have you seen their SNL? God, their cultural output is so good. I still have some people from former circles trying to say people shouldn't talk about Israel doing war crimes because they don't understand the complexities. I genuinely think it's their way of coping with the fact that they have family over there. It also shows why Israel wants so many people to move there. Yeah, of course. I was a person who was like, I don't care what happens in Gaza and supporting Israel. Eventually, I understood I didn't know what was going on. It's now very important to me to spread the word and support the cause. I'm embarrassed of who I was then. It's okay. As long as you are doing the right thing now, you know? Spend too much time on who you used to be. Now, having said that, it is good and healthy to examine how you were so oblivious in order to make sure that you are not as oblivious when other issues take place. You know what I mean? When there's other ongoing issues that you might like. What is the reason why you were so closed-minded at first? It's good to figure that out and to eradicate that. But yeah, we're here now. It's over. It's done.
Makes sense to me. He's also never there anytime Texas needs him, like in the event of like tragedies and shit, like with the flood, the freeze from quite a few years back. He always seems to be on vacation. Like, it's just, I'll stop harping on Ted Cruz in particular. I'm just fucking blabbering here. It's 4 a.m. Obviously, it's another insomnia-fueled evening, so I can't help but just blabber. But my God, it's just crazy the times we're living in.
Yeah.